live on YouTube for this here any moment. Just taking its time. All right. Happy Monday, everybody. What is today's date? Today is Monday, March 11th, 2024. I'm Lindsay Duff, and this is Responsible Day Trading. We do have Jason that's going to join us here in a few minutes. Cesar is in here. He might have a little bit to say because we're going to talk a little bit about contract rollover. But first things first, let's talk a little bit about, what we see here, guys. Let's just go through this disclaimer. This is the express opinion of us here at Responsible Day Trading. We are not financial advisors. Everything that you see here is for educational purposes only. So we just want to share that with everybody. Everybody does have a little bit different way to trade and think while they're trading. So, what works for us may not work for you. So we just want to put this out here. All right. And let's go ahead and let me find, where are we at? Give me just a moment. It's not that one. Oh, yeah, it is. Here we go. All right, so let's go ahead and just take a quick look over to the website, guys. Here at Responsible Day Trading, we have a couple of different options for you. You can come over here and find out about Responsible Day Trading. You can find out about our courses here. The vault is where we do have recordings of trades that we have taken. I do admittedly have some I need to put in there, and I will very soon. So we've got a student hub, we've got a learning center, and here you can find out about UProfit. Because we do offer our students, once they've gone through the course and they have we've walked through their trades with them, then we will help them to get a UProfit account so they can work towards a funded account. So just something we like to do here at Responsible Day Trading. Okay, so let's start off, guys, with the news. Like I said, Jason's running just a little bit behind. He'll be here in just a few moments, but hopefully y'all are okay with just me for a little bit. Okay, so news. Today, there's no news, guys. Now, one thing we do want to pay attention to, though, is that we did have contract rollover. So we're going to look at that. We're going to look at the difference between the contracts and what we see here. And my camera's very weird. Okay, I think we're okay. Yeah. Well, I think he was not at home, but let's just say that he's wrapping up a sweet 20-pointer. Like, I don't know where that 20-pointer would have come from today. It had taken some work to get that thing in, but maybe not. No news today, guys. We do have Tuesday, tomorrow. We've got news. And this is in Central Time. We're going to do some work so that we can maybe get you to be able to see it in the time zone that you're in. Ooh, I've got my my Texas earrings on today, guys, because it is the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo out here. So just representing a little bit. They are a little heavy. So, all right. So an hour before the market opens tomorrow, guys, we've got some news going on. If you are a pre-market trader and you are in the market before the market opens, tends to run a little slow for me pre-market, but this may get it moving just a bit. So just pay attention to the fact that we do have some news then. And then we also have it at noon Central Time. And we can see we've got a couple different things at noon on Wednesday. We've got an hour after the market opens. We've got crude oil inventories. And then we've also got the 30-year bond auction at noon. And then Thursday, it's all pre-market. So all an hour before the market opens. So just paying attention to that, knowing what we've got ahead of us, guys, is really important. Now, if you are a pre-market trader, this is probably going to affect you most. But, once the market opens, we're not really going to have a lot going on. We do have these two at noon on Tuesday and Wednesday. Most traders I know aren't trading during the noon hour, but, you never know. Trying to see if I can see. Okay, I don't see any comments coming in. I'm trying to keep both comments on YouTube and here in the Zoom. So if anybody's got anything, just let me know. Guys, also, if you haven't joined our Discord channel, we do have a we do have a lot of students and the coaches here putting their trades in there and talking about them. And I've been seeing some really great stuff in there at Denison. Seeing what you've done looks good. Tim, you as well. So I'm glad to see you guys putting that stuff in there. All right, so let's go ahead. Oh, one last thing I wanted to talk about really quick before we jump in, the live class schedule. We've been doing some updates on this. Hello, Dennison, lovely to see you. We've been doing some updates on this so we can make it easy for everybody to read and understand. We did move today's class to 1 o'clock, so we did put out some announcements. Hopefully everybody saw that. It's with me and Jason. So far, it's just me, but Jason will be here in a little bit. We have also started teaching our live classes in Spanish. So we want you to be aware of that if you want to come and check these classes out in Spanish. Davis did our last one last week, and it turned out really, really nice. I was really, really proud of you, Davis. And we had a good turnout there. So we're going to have the next class on the 14th, and that one's going to be the second section. We have 4 sections. I believe Cesar is going to be teaching this one, and then Davis is going to teach section 3 and 4 on the 21st. But if you want to see these classes in English, you can come over here to the little yellow boxes. And so I taught this class over chart basics last week on Saturday. It's actually a really good class. Makes me realize that, a lot more people have a lot more time on Saturdays. So we may be doing a little bit more classes on Saturdays. But we're going to next go over patterns in the small and the large market. And then Saturday, March 23rd, we're going to be talking about the EMAs and the RDT MACDs. So if those are things that you're interested in learning about, definitely check that out, guys. You can also just click here and click to access the course. When you go there, it's going to take you to a place to sign up. You will get those first 4 sections for free to be able to go through them. Currently, we have the homework in there. I think we may remove that from there, but so you can just kind of do those on your own. But the homework is for our students to be able to send that in, and we're going to make sure that they understand every piece of every bit there. Sections 5 through 7 are for our RDT students only. And we have actually removed a couple of the lessons here that are very specific to responsible day trading and what we do here. Otherwise, we want this to be something that can just help anybody learning about, what is a trend? What is a pivot? What is a pullback? Those were brand new, brand spanking new to trading, and really need to get some insight and some information over there. So, and I believe, let's talk just a little bit about our seminar. We are actually going to do our seminar online this year, but it's going to be April 26th through 28th. It's going to be 3 days, so you can join 1, 2 or 3 days if you want. Here's some of the things that we're going to be talking about. We are going to start back up with our tax seminars again, and we are actually going to have the responsible day trading tax pros back up on our site before too long, so that you guys, it is really partial to those here in the States, but if you needed to get some tax help and some information, these guys are specifically for day traders. So we're going to have some great topics covered. You can see a little video. Last year we did do it in person. Hopefully next year we'll do it in person again, but just time-wise it worked out best if we just did it online this year. But if you guys want some information over that, definitely reach out to info@responsibledaytrading.com, and we can get you some info over there, or you can give us a call if you want to. So you can just click here, find the phone number, give us a call. All right. Well, without further ado, and I guess Jason's just a little later than he thought he would be, but that's all right. I think there was actually one last thing I just wanted to mention here really quick. Guys, if you're brand new here, you can also enroll in that course, and you can also go here and get the free beginner guide. If you want the beginner guide in Spanish, just reach out to us at info@responsibledaytrading.com, and we will send you that guide in Spanish. I think we were just talking about guide 3 is wrapped up and ready to go. So if you want those, it's a lot of great information on there about taxes, about difference between e-minis and, difference between stocks and things like that. Can you see the seminar? Yeah, I mean, the seminar is going to be online. And I don't remember um what section or what level you signed up as, Dennison, but we can you can reach out to Angelina and we can get you, or you can reach out to info at responsible day trading, and we can get you all the information. If you want to come to all 3 days, you can. There are going to be things like private one-on-ones, all those kind of things, but it will be pretty much all of us in that seminar throughout the time, and we're going to have some special classes and things like that we're going to go through. We're going to have someone talking about the psychology of things, taxes, all that kind of stuff. So yes, you're absolutely able to be part of the seminar. We'd love it. Like, this is open to anybody too. It's not just open to students at Responsible Day Trading. It's also open to anyone who just wants to join and be a part of it. And you can, find the days that you would prefer to be a part of it. It is a great experience being part of the seminar, even from my end, Cesar, just being there and being able to just kind of sit with everybody and talk with everybody, hear everybody's experience, and to see those lights turn on as we're, working through different situations. It is an amazing experience. All right. So, guys, it's not here yet, but we'll see hopefully pretty soon. So let's go ahead, get this party started. Let me see. What did I just do? Pulled the wrong thing. That's all right. All right. So let's talk just for a minute. When I opened up my charts today, it suggested that I roll over my contracts, which I did immediately. I always do pretty immediately. Now, if you so chose that you really wanted to be on the older contracts, or, if you are working through a certain funding program that makes you hold off on changing those, you can easily go up here and switch back and forth between those. Very, very simple, very easy. But we do see a difference in where the price has been and where it's gone, definitely between the 624 contract and the 324 contract. So we can see that the high on the 324 contract was right up here around 51.95 or so. And we can see on the 624 contract, it's around 52.55. So it's definitely gone much higher on the 624 contract. I tend to roll over pretty quickly whenever it asks me to, but I do like to kind of look back and forth and see which one is moving just a little bit more. Obviously, we're going to be moving over to the 624 contract. So in my mind, it's like not a huge reason to stay on the 324 contract anymore. So here we are. Oh, I see Jason. All right, so here we are on the new contract, right? And we'll run this until 9/24, and then we'll switch over to the new contract. I tend to kind of sit back a little bit whenever we have contract rollover, because in my mind, there's a lot of confusion between, which contract you should be on, especially to somebody new to the system. Jason, give me just a second. I'm going to make you co-host. There we go. So I like to just kind of sit back and let it work itself out, typically at those times, so that I am
Hey guys,
not
how you
stuck
doing?
in a hello.
Sorry to interrupt.
It's okay. It's
And
okay.
for being late.
Yeah. Tisk tisk. No, it's okay. I know you got other responsibilities, and
Yeah, some other
we're
stuff
here
going
now.
on. Yeah, good to see you all.
But what I was saying is that it moves a little slow. Now I did trade. Let's see, I've only traded really out of this new year. I was looking at it today. I think it's 9 days that I've traded or something like that is only it. Um, and Friday was particularly tough for me. I had 3 losing trades in a row, so I was down like 1,500. But I came back. I came back. I won one. I lost one. I got a couple of like almost break evens. And then I finally was able to pull it out in the long run, where I think I ended up like, after commissions, it was like 800 up. So, I'll take it. And at that moment, I was like, you are getting shut down. Do not touch this anymore today. I'm good. Going from -15 to +8, to +800. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have moved all of my contracts over to 624 just so we can be on the new contract. Let's go ahead and check out what the daily chart is doing. Now, today is probably the first time that I'm really feeling that we might see a bit of a movement back down to towards the EMAs. And the reason is, and it's still, well, it's 117, so it's getting a little bit later in the day. It's this BB right here. We pulled up and we tried to break through these top Bollinger Bands previously, and we couldn't do it. And now it's breaking through the bottom Bollinger Band. Now, I want to look at the last time that happened too, right in here. We broke through the bottom Bollinger Band. We didn't quite have an immediate break of it. First off, we had all these that kind of milled around inside of the Bollinger Bands before it broke through. We had one strong break. We had the next one. Now, I mean, I say that we want to see the next bar really pushing towards the downside, but we had a great reversal bar right here. We have what looks like we're trying to break through this bottom Bollinger Band at this point. We really, really want to see it start to make more of a move of something like this to get us to the downside. It's almost like this situation back here that we're looking at in and let me just take that back off because it drives me crazy. It's almost like this situation right here where it bounced back and forth between it and then it finally broke to the downside. So it was trying to do it here, gave just a little weak break up to the upside. We still have divergences going through these areas. Whenever I roll over my contracts, it always doubles up my my lines that I have here, but that's fine. So is this going to stay broken through to the downside? Are we going to see this price action finally break through this little area here and start to make its way back towards the EMAs? And honestly, guys, even if it makes it back to the EMAs, it doesn't mean that I'm really expecting this to shift to the downside. We currently have really strong EMAs to the upside, which means we have a strong trending market to the upside. We've created several divergences that didn't turn the market around and push it to the downside, which means we have something that I like to call broken divergence. And it just means that it's just it's going strong against that, even though we're seeing these divergences to the downside. So, are we going to see this move down more? There's a possibility for it as it's breaking through here, but we're going to want to see getting back past these areas right in here to really be comfortable with the idea that it's going to pull down, and then it's breaking through that next area and then through that next area. And our last major area that gave a bounce back to the downside was all the way here, which we could see possibly if it pulls back down would line up with that bottom Bollinger or that bottom EMA at some point. But so, in the long run, though, currently the direction is still to the upside. We're above the EMAs, we're above the zero line. The direction is up. Are we anticipating a pullback? Always, right? We're always looking for that pullback and that reason to give us another opportunity to either get in and move in that direction, to continue with the direction to the upside and feel a lot more safe with that movement. And a lot of times that happens when we pull back into the areas of the EMAs, although obviously we're going to have other opportunities besides that. Oh, Jason, I know I've been babbling on a little bit. If you would like, you can talk a little bit here about the 28,657. If you want to ask me for permission to take the remote control, is all you, sir.
Yeah, so I'm taking a look at these charts for the first time today. Haven't traded this morning. Probably going to have an afternoon session trading. So this is my pre-market analysis, really.
Yeah.
Starting from the top. No idea what's been going on as until I sort of just took a quick look at what you're doing here.
Yep.
So
That's one of the things that I actually love about what we do is we don't need a lot of time to do
nah,
analysis. We just kind of look at it and say, okay, what are the patterns telling me? I'm looking for my big chart. So down to my next one, what's it telling me?
15 minutes, sort of on average 15 minutes, bit of pre-market analysis. I won't go back through the daily again, but it's probably apart from what I just noticed there, what you pointed out with the MACDs, that's probably the most significant thing on the daily there with the BBs looking to potentially, or having popped out already, looking potentially maybe to make the move down back to the EMAs.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so bear with me while I just do it
Well, you're
on the.
also using my charts instead of yours. So
Yeah,
I
exactly.
just threw them into
Yeah.
the fire. I'm like, you're late. Here you
Yeah.
go. Into the
That's all
fire.
right. That's all right. We're able to do that. Yeah, let's just have do this on the fly. And yeah, so looks like just going to put a little drawing in on here. Obviously, Lindsay
Sure.
also uses different drawing tools to me.
I
So
cannot see my questions in YouTube. Hold on. Can you give me just a second so I can take the mouse for just a moment and then you can
okay,
have
let
it
me
back?
just draw this in.
Okay.
Got
That's
the
fine.
tool out. Okay.
Yes, you like them big old boxes.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, yeah. Just I'll walk that through in a minute. Walk through that in a minute. So over to you.
Okay. I think I just need to refresh my page on the YouTube and it will show me the questions.
Oh,
Is
sorry,
that
slurring
correct?
my coffee there.
That's fine. When you look at a chart, what's the very first thing you think? I start from the biggest chart down. So I always start with the daily chart, always, and think, okay, what is my bigger picture telling me? Because as I was saying that I struggled the other day with my trading, I 100% know it was because I was putting all of my emphasis on the 233.
Hmm.
I was looking at the very small things that were having happening on the 233 and I was making that mean something about the trade and it
Yeah.
means absolutely nothing. I mean, not absolutely nothing. That's wrong. I apologize for saying that because it does go in line with the things that we see from the bigger chart. But if I'm only using what my smallest chart says and I'm not paying attention to what the bigger ones, I'm leaving out so much information and I'm putting so much weight into this little, it's like having this little tiny finishing nail that you're hoping will hold up an entire house, right? And it's going to collapse. So the first thing I do when I'm coming to these things, I look at say where, on my bigger chart, what are my MACDs telling me? What is my price telling me? And then I move down in each chart in that order and look at that in that way to the point where I finally have the 10,946, 1597, 233 going across. And then I ask, what are the patterns that it's saying? Like we can see, and Jason, if you want to draw it on here, we can see easily that across the whole tops of those, we've got divergence between the price and the MACDs from the biggest area that you just had showing.
Hmm. Oh, right.
Even
Okay.
from
Yeah.
there, I know we
Yeah.
did get back below things, but
Yeah.
the MACD, the price keeps going up and up and up, and the MACDs are really struggling to get up to where that really high was, right? And even in the newer pivots, our MACDs are leading lower, which told me that, we were going to see a push back down, which we got. And now we have to start reading everything else
Mm.
together to kind of see what the what's going to work best. Where's everything in tune? Where is it all saying the same thing right now? Because we don't want, I mean, of course, that we're going to have things that are just starting to turn because a lot of what we're doing is, looking at the potential for it to move from this point. But we've seen these patterns enough and we've read through them enough and we've practiced them enough that we know these patterns have a higher probability of working out or not. Right. So it's a lot that goes through my head first thing, but I
Yeah. Well,
just,
that's quite a timely question there, Krem.
yeah.
Because this is the first time I've looked at this chart and maybe caught onto that. What am I thinking immediately? So I've just moved that box out the way somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not quite as exactly where I wanted it. So let's
You
put it
got it.
back. So
Yeah.
the first thing I'm looking at really, I'd say first and foremost is I'm identifying the environment I'm in. So I want to know, is this a trending market? Is this a um, sideways choppy market, for example? The different market environments, right? Is this minor consolidation? Is there strength? Is there weakness? Is it range bound? So is it moving between a bigger range up and down? What's the market environment? Because that's going to dictate the trading posture that I take and adapt. I will adapt the types of trades I take to the market environment. So, for example, strong trending market, I'm most likely going to be getting into, the pullbacks and looking for the continuation trade, right? But then um, a sideways market, I'm going to be looking to trade in the extremities of the sideways market, right? So the highs and the lows, and trade back
Yes.
into the areas and not be trading pullbacks in the middle, right?
Yep.
Because that's where I'm going to get chopped up the most. So it's about identifying. Those are just two examples of two market environments. Um, but if you look at, for example, our beginner's guide, there's a bit of a table in there on how you adjust your posture um, to the different market environments. So the first thing I want to know is, what is the environment I'm entering into in this arena right now?
I have a
Um,
quick question for you when you're saying that, just really
mhm.
quick. I don't feel like personally, I don't feel like I can get the market environment um feel from the daily and the 28,657 per se.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, that's a good
yeah,
point. Yeah, this is a high level overview, right?
yeah,
Obviously, so a high level anyway. Where I'm at, then obviously I will start from the top time frame and then start moving down into the next time frames.
yeah.
Um, I actually forgot what time frame I was looking at here
That's a
because
28,657.
Lindsay
Yeah, so
Lindsay
that's a
threw it
pretty
up for
big
me. Yeah,
one.
yeah,
Yeah.
but um, bring that back up again. So yeah, you definitely can't work out obviously from such a high time frame. Whether you're in a sideways market because or whether you're going to treat your trades in a sideways market environment. If you're going to adjust your posture to that, that would be because there'll be plenty of opportunities even in this sort of area here to go long, to go short, when you look at the lower time frames, right? So you need to do your top-down overview of the market environment, and then decide how the best way to approach trading that environment is. Once you've done that, and then just look at so here you can see I've just sort of marked out some support and resistance areas, sort of key information that I want to be aware of. The fact that we are revisiting a previous resistance area here, that also was kind of a support area over here, and we are close to these EMAs. So we may encounter some resistance up here, and then I'll
Yeah.
be moving. Once I've got an idea of what's going on there and where we are in relation to support and resistance areas, where we are in relation to EMAs, um, any obvious patterns, then I'll move down to the MACDs, looking at the MACDs and seeing what's going on with them. Same sort of technical analysis for the MACDs that you would do for the price action. So, is it strong and on the outside of the Bollinger Bands, or is it looking like rolling over, getting weak? Do we see divergences in price or MACDs? That type of thing. So it's quite when you've been doing it for a long period of time, it does become like quite a routine.
Yeah.
That years ago I had it all written down all over the place.
Yeah, I feel
Post-it
that.
notes all over my monitor, and now it's just I just look at it and it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, ready to trade.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, that's what sort of looking at markets for I don't know how long now. It must be about 14 years. Does to you.
Let me pull up the
So
are you done with the 28,657?
yeah,
Okay.
in terms of the just to keep this moving.
Okay.
In terms of the market analysis of this particular chart, like I mentioned, that we're at a resistance area. We also did bounce off a previous area of some support. So, a couple things can happen here. We could oscillate back and down through these areas over the next coming days, weeks.
Yeah.
We could, this could hold up our progress to the upside, but it's looking quite strong at the moment. We are underneath the zero line.
Well, and something
Uh,
else that stands out to me, honestly, is like
mm,
the way that the price pulled down below the EMAs well before it crossed over, just like it did like on March 5th,
yeah,
between March 5th and 6th.
yeah,
So if we look back here, let me show you real quick. Yeah, back here,
Yeah.
we can
Hmm.
look at how it takes a while. And, we used to call that the guppy belly look,
Yeah.
right? Because it would pull over.
Yeah.
And by the time we pull up to it here, what looks like was starting to be strong EMAs can be cut through pretty easily because
Yeah.
of that kind of thing. And
Yeah.
especially with still having higher pivots and the price of MACDs. But it doesn't mean you want to just totally discount this area, especially with it, having a couple of things leading up to the fact that you got two EMAs, you've
Yeah.
got um, high area for potential pushback down to the downside. We do have MACDs still showing strength outside. We're below the zero line, so it's kind of like there's six of one, half a dozen of the other, right? There's a
Hmm.
couple of reasons that it could go up. There's a couple of reasons that it could go down if we're
Exactly.
just
Yeah.
looking at the 28,657. And that's typically where I start going, okay, so let's refine this in even more and take it down to our smaller charts of the 10,946, the 1597, the 233. And even then, we may have to even take it in further at some point and have something like the 4181 here, or maybe the 610 here, or if it's really, really slow. And I know most of you guys don't do it, but I do. I will move this over and I'll use that as my bigger tick chart and even take it down and refine it down further to here just to have that smaller, quicker view. But for the sake of the way that we normally do things, we're just going to leave the 10,946, 1597, 233 for right now. If I'm looking at this, I see that I start going, okay, now in my smaller chart, what's the direction? And the direction is to the downside. Excuse me, I was going to say upside, but it's working to try and get to the upside. Just such weak MACDs to even think about getting back above those EMAs right now. So we may see it still bounce off of that area, but direction is up on the 1597 and the 233, but it won't be hard to shift those either direction. Everything is very weak because when you've been above and below and above and below the EMAs, and you also see that these price bars are just really just encompassed within each other so much, it gets really, really hard to make a definitive answer on what we anticipate to happen. Also, keeping in mind contract rollover. There's people trading both sets of contracts right now, and which means you divide some of the volume off of here that would normally be there. So if you have some big players come in really quick, they can shift the market like that. Or you just see people just kind of bouncing it back and forth the whole time, and it gets
Hmm.
it's just a snooze fest more than anything. One
Yep.
second. Just gotta clear my throat for a minute. I was doing great. I was not congested. And then I started this class and here I am again. But we can even see now, looking at this area on the 10946 right here, the weakness of the MACDs right here, which is helping us see these pullbacks back into the area. But are we going to want to take a short trade directly back into EMAs that have held a couple of times? Not necessarily. Even with the way this BB is starting to look like strength right now, there's 800 ticks left. We don't want to just go ahead and be like, okay, it's showing the strength. We've just started, and let's go ahead and take this move to the downside because it could very, very easily pull back up in that little bit of time. Although it doesn't look like it's trying to right now. It's still got 200 ticks left. I still wouldn't touch it in a matter of taking a short right now. Jason.
No,
Oh,
no.
okay.
I mean, I'm looking at the 10946. I don't really like where that EMA is and price in relation to that EMA. That it doesn't. So that's that EMA here, right? The one I'm looking at here. It's also
You're gonna have to click on it to
yeah.
take the mouse back.
Sorry.
There you go. It's
Yeah,
okay.
I never get used to that.
Yeah.
So just looking at the close proximity of the higher time frame EMA. This EMA over here is the same as this EMA down here. And as you've seen in the the last
No,
pass.
that's the 15 you the 4181. I pulled that one out of the
Uh,
way.
okay.
I know
I've got
your color
no,
confusion.
it's not that. I've got a 4181 here, so
Would you like me
that's
to
why.
pull the 4181 up
No,
there?
no, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
So anyway, I mean the areas are close by, but um yeah, this just looking at the 1597, there's a chance that, there's not too far to go here, really. Only 3 points away where you
Yeah.
could pick up some
And
support
you can
right
see
off.
how already those BBs are weakening,
Mm.
right? We were like, oh, it was showing a lot of strength, but look at how they're weakening with that second BB already. I mean, it's
Yeah,
still
so
outside,
I
it could still
prefer
push
to have,
down, but
a bit more space to these resistance area or support areas or areas that may cause a reaction. Yeah.
yeah.
So I want to have some bit of an air gap between where I enter the market and, maybe if I'm getting in somewhere here, I can see the first area where I might get a reaction is that either this previous support level or resistance level, or maybe the EMA. So, it's lower risk when you've got that bit of distance to move. And then it could go further, like it did in this case, to the next level, or even break straight through. Um, but you see, like if you're getting in sort of more up here, fading the weak move to the upside, whereas this one was a strong move. But when you see those weak moves, and you fade them, you've got a bit of a safety net if you've got some distance from the EMAs or other support levels. Right here, you're just running into a whole load of trouble. Like if it doesn't go straight through, at some point it will break straight through, but that can be quite difficult to time. So this is a sort of watch and wait type scenario for me. I'd like to see what happens next. I'm not a big fan of trading within EMAs on any time frame, really.
Yeah,
Even the
same here.
10946, I try to avoid being within EMAs. I
Yeah.
find it gets quite choppy. It's probably
The
what
only time I
you're
will do
typically
it
seeing
is
that
if
now.
the only time I'll do it is if they're really wide and spread apart, and I'm expecting to bounce back to the upside if
Yeah,
they're going up or downside if they're going down. Hey,
yeah.
Jason, I have to step away for just 1 second, so I'm gonna let you take over for a moment. But I know there is a specific way, and I never do it personally. I probably should to check the volume whenever we're looking to switch from contract to contract. Could you
Yeah.
maybe talk to them about that a little bit so they know how to pay attention to which one has the better movement while we're in?
You put me on the spot. See if I can remember that.
I'm
I'm
trying to
pretty
remember
sure I know
too.
where it is, but it's on the control panel.
It's your turn
Because
on the
they,
spot. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah, yeah, market
I'll be right
analyzer.
back.
That's it. So they changed it on NinjaTrader 7. It was pretty straightforward. You could just pull up um the two contracts on the same instrument and see which one had the higher volume. And typically on rollover day and a day after or 2 days after, you'll see people transitioning from one contract to the next. So just because the new contract is in force, it's not necessarily, especially on the rollover day, it's not necessarily the one with most volume, most activity on it. And that's the one you want to be trading. So sometimes on a rollover day, you want to be trading the old contract just because there's more activity going on there, right? So it's worth looking at the market analyzer. And I can't see where she's got that because it's off screen. So unfortunately, we're going to wait until Lindsay comes back because I don't see her control panel. But if you've got NinjaTrader yourself, you go to, yeah, I can't see your control panel, Lindsay. So if you pull up market analyzer, me or one of the guys can walk you through this if I can remember. Um, I know there's a couple guys on here
Okay, I
that
just
know
took
what's
it.
going on with that.
I just
I
took
very
the
rarely use.
I rarely use it myself. And so I was hoping that
Yeah,
under tools,
no,
is
it's
that where?
market.
Where would I find that?
Cesar, over to you.
Cesar.
um,
Cesar, you can me
yeah,
you can unmute and tell us because I really have no idea where that is. Oh, found it. It's under new
new market analyzer.
market
Yeah,
analyzer.
that's it.
And then I have no idea what to do there.
So I think you're going to right click and add an instrument to that. Yeah, the old
Aha.
instrument, and then
Okay, we're learning together, guys.
Yeah, then the new
Like
contract,
really,
and then I
honestly,
think
Ninja
you need
Trader
that.
changes so much. Like right now, especially with their new update, they've been changing quite
You
a
also
bit. No.
so you also need to go and add the right column. So you want an extra column for volume. Yeah. So if you get the
Call.
volume columns up, move down to volume, and so on that available column,
Gotcha.
you should find somewhere there
Daily
daily
volume.
volume. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah. Try
I will add.
double click it, apply.
We'll apply and we'll see.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So we can see that, the new contract is higher volume now.
Yeah, but it's pretty strong split between those two, right?
Mm,
So
yeah,
that's another reason we may see things moving a lot slower than we would like um on days like this because
yeah. Half the
we've
people
got
are on the other
people.
contract. So
Yes.
yeah,
And some
normally
people
you
will be there until it dies, and then they're going to be calling in to Ninja Trader or whoever the broker is, or
yeah.
to your profit and going, "Why is my market not moving?" And
Mm,
it's like, "Because you got to move contracts."
yeah.
Um,
So yeah,
but yeah, it does usually take a day or two to show the big difference for
yeah.
sure. But this is why I don't like to particularly trade during contract rollover. And sometimes, if I'm not paying attention, I will get myself caught in it, and I'm going, "Man, why is this moving so slow?" And then I'll realize that contract rollover has reared its ugly head at us. So
Interesting how different those prices are for the two contracts.
they are, right?
60
And that's
points
what I was
difference.
talking about this
Mm,
morning. Whenever I actually switched over to, or not this morning, but just a while ago, I actually switched over to 324. So we could see that the high was right about where you drew that box, right?
mm,
That was it. Although we're way up here around 5188, where the high no, that's not right. Yeah. No, that was back here. Sorry, the high went up here to 5260, where
mm.
here it was right around 5200. So we've got, and that's usually the case too. So, if you come back and you open up your charts and you have drawing objects on there, so you can see where I put some notes for myself Friday when I was trading right here. When I switch over, boom, those markers are now down here.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
So they're no longer in that same space because things have kind of switched over a little bit with this
yeah.
new contract.
Tomorrow it should liven up on the markets once you'll see the majority of people, or
Yeah.
day after at the worst Wednesday, the majority of
Thursday is
people
like
on
the
the
last day
all
for rollover,
contracts.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
I think
Majority of people
so.
on Wednesday will be crossing over to this.
Yeah.
There are people in long positions, sorry, not long positions, longer term positions,
Yes.
that are still stuck on the old contract and they're not quite
Yes.
ready to close it out. Day traders pretty much are all, they know what they're doing. They've already moved over, but um, yeah, you'll get some swing traders still hanging out in the old contract.
Yes.
Position traders also.
But so, I mean, just looking back to what we were talking about a few minutes ago, too, right in here, as it was pulling back into these areas, we were looking at, well, are these going to really give us a strong push to the downside? And they didn't, which really told us to anticipate this crazy, wonky EMA to hold and push back up. So I still have a little bit of belief that we're going to push through this area, but I think it's going to take some work.
Mm,
And, whatever I believe and what I see happening are always two, those are never the same things. Not
mm,
never. Though those are, what I believe a lot of times, like what I'm trying to predict will
yeah.
happen. And if I get myself too stuck in that thought process of what I'm trying to predict will happen, then I'm going to be stuck trying to take trades against whatever the market is actually telling me.
It does look good to push up. You've got the bit of couple retracement divergences on the 10,946
You can take, oh yeah, you got
here.
the mouse now.
Yeah, if you look at let's have a closer look at this. Just expand it out a bit. A big retracement divergence on this
Oh
pullback here.
yeah.
Yeah, and
Yes.
then you've got another
Couple little
one
ones through in
over
there.
here, and another one over here. So we're staying on the outside. So that's what we call a super retracement divergence.
Uh-huh.
So
Ultimate.
yeah, ultimate. Always get confused with the two.
It's
But
okay.
it's good news anyway. And yeah, I mean, distance from there, but there's there is a lot of reasons for it to react up here as well. Um, and maybe get put in some sort of deeper retracement. I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, it is in line with the higher time frame overall trend, which is strongly to the upside, right? So um, that's if you look at
Yeah.
what's going on here, we are getting these bigger retracements and an extension, quite deep retracement, much better extension than the last two. Um, but then overall, you know, we are showing
MACD's
signs
leading
of
down.
the MACD's leading lower, so they're not in agreement. They're in disagreement. So
Yeah.
I expect that there's going to be a deeper retracement. It's just when. Um, Probably going to come right below all of this stuff at some point. Yeah.
What I'd like to see happen is something very similar to what here. Let me take this real quick. Is something very similar to what happened right back in here, right? Where it pulls back, then everything just kind of gets back in alignment where even though this pulls down, it stays pretty much above the zero line. And every time it pulls back, it's giving us that major divergence or retracement divergence to tell us to anticipate more in that direction. So I like to see things what I call, on the correct side or in agreement, which means typically if we're looking for more continuation to the upside, we want everything to already be up there. BB's outside of the Bollinger Bands or showing the potential to roll outside of the Bollinger Bands to the upside. We may see a couple of different looks to the stuff here, but even this rolling above the zero line as this is starting to open up did tell us more up, but we want to see, we're going to eventually want to see a pullback in these MACDs to kind of I like to say it resets them. So if it pulls back towards the zero line and then stays and rolls and pushes up, it resets everything to help with that movement to the upside and to be in the right mindset and trading on the what I call the correct side. Now we can trade on the wrong side, and that will happen a lot of times in things like divergence reversals, right? When we're waiting for it to, we're expecting it to push to the other side. But a lot of times our smaller charts will already be in tune with a divergence reversal, which we can see one actually right here where the MACDs are, not agreeing with what the price says. The price says more up, MACDs say more down, but there was a lot going on in here to help us, to anticipate that move to the upside. Not necessarily today. I mean, we do see this roll and this move to the upside here to get us back to the EMAs, but I probably would have been a little uncomfortable trying to keep it going up whenever it pulled back here after such a big move to the downside. So with divergence reversals, we're typically going to see the bigger charts out of sync with it, but the smaller charts are already starting to sync up and get ready to move to the other side. And so now we're reaching that area that is like kind of like the last like the last ditch effort to try and get back above here with the way the MACDs are pulling away. And there's still almost 3,000 ticks left, and we could see this pull in and pop back inside very easily. But we're finally reaching that area. That next area is like, if we get back above here, where can we anticipate going to next? And that's really what the whole game is every time. If this area holds, what's the next area I'm looking to make it to?
Yeah.
And where can I move my risk along the way while it goes there? So, like, say you had gotten into a long and you had your risk here, and finding areas that you can move your risk to either lock in some profit, although that would not be the best place right now to have the risk, considering we haven't made a new high in the price just yet. I don't like to move my risk until it pushes past the high of where the pullback happened. So the pullback happened here, we pushed past the high. So I felt a little more comfortable moving my risk there. And here we pulled back, it didn't push past the high. So you have to start telling yourself, and we have these conversations with people like Liddy or other students who are in here. It's like, if you're comfortable waiting for this entire pullback when we can see it has a really good possibility to pull back, that's cool. But if you have your risk sitting right above these EMAs, even on the 233, it's at a place that's going to have a good possibility to come back and touch it before it takes off. And if you're doing that and you're moving your risk up like that, it's actually just a better idea just to get out of that trade, save those points from the pullback, and then get back in whenever it shows you the next opportunity to get back in. Although typically at this point, with seeing the way these EMAs or these MACDs are pulling down, I'd want to see to myself, like, are we going to pull back again back into the EMAs here on the 1597? We got about 10 minutes left in the class or so. We're guys, and we are experimenting with different times here. We did noon last week. I don't think noon was probably the best time because I feel like it really does slow down during noon. Um, One of my favorite times to trade is between, one of the last, well, 2 to 3 Central Time. So the market closes technically at 4. From 3 to 4, it's usually just kind of junk. But I love the 2 to 3 hour. So maybe we'll come back and take some we'll just take some we'll just pay attention to how these markets are moving during these times and see if we can find some better times to really talk about some things. But yeah, oh, didn't mean to scoot that over. We see it's pulled back down into the EMAs and the MACDs are still strong down while this is rolling over. So while we have what kind of looks like a flag reversal bar on the 10946, and I say kind of because this close is really still happening to the upside, don't think it's completely done going up, but yeah, we'll have to see how that works there.
Mhm.
What's your thought on that, Jason?
Yeah. It really depends. I mean, it's probably not going to happen today, so we'll
Yeah.
see. Take a look at it tomorrow, really get a better idea. But maybe overnight trading, you might get a breakthrough there. But still
Through that
looking like
area that you
it's
boxed
yeah,
off.
yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
just
we've got about an hour of good market trading. Like really, about 3:15, the market completely starts to die out. By 3:45, if you don't have a account that can trade overnight, you need to be out, or they're going to kick you out, and then they're going to charge you $50 too
yeah,
for
exactly. Yeah,
that.
it's
So if you don't have enough funds to trade overnight, then you need to be out by 3:45. But legitimately, from like 3:15 to 3:45, and I'm specifically speaking Central Time. So like Eastern Time, from 4:15 to 4:45, market's dead. Like you shouldn't be doing anything. You should not be in it anyways.
yeah,
But from like, Central Time 2 to 3, there's usually, especially from like 2:30 to about 3:15, it starts to boogie just a little bit.
yeah, yeah. The thing that really catches my attention is like these continued lower lows from the major pivots on the MACDs compared to the higher highs on the price action. Right. So we
Jason, really quick, there's a question that came through that says, do we expect this week to be a retracement move on the ES after last week? Uh, oh, it's like right behind the text. Give me just a second, Jason. Let me grab that.
oh sorry, you
After
go ahead.
last week's bullish move, I think that is what that says.
Yeah.
It's like right behind the little heart, and I couldn't read
Yeah,
it.
I see the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So we expect this week to be a retracement move on the ES after last week's bullish move. Um, I don't really look at an entire week as retracement moves personally. I like to see each move as it's happening. And because we did have a nice big, bullish move, which, if we're really looking at it, we had some bullish and then it turned right back down to the downside most of last
Mm,
week. So I really kind of expect it to stay within what we're seeing here on the 10946, where it's pulled back and pushed up. And currently we're making higher highs and higher lows in the bigger picture.
yeah. There is a change though, like recently you can see here from these last two pivots,
Yes.
right? So now we
Yes.
have what's changed for all of that I just marked out with all the consistently, the divergence across the two is these last two swings on the and it's a bit tricky to mark this out, but now we're kind of breaking that.
Trying to break a little bit higher. Yeah.
Yeah, you see now we put in a higher high than this one here, so if anything, his price has got some catching up to do with the
Yeah.
MACDs. That's the change across all of the other pivots. And you see that happen here previously as well, only just, um, and that was more in line. So the divergence was broken over here. It's more in line.
For me
So,
personally, just the
mhm,
way that I think is I want to see the price also get back above the EMAs to change the
yeah,
direction to the upside before I really trust those MACDs going higher
yeah,
at that pivot. But that's
yeah,
just the way I see it. Yeah.
for sure. Yeah. The other thing you've got on your side, obviously, what you got to always consider is the general trend is to the upside as well, right? So
Correct.
um, yeah, we'll see how. I missed the news. Your news announcement for today. Is there much news this week going
There,
on?
no, it's almost all pre-market. There is
Okay.
two at noon, one
Mm,
on Tuesday and one on Wednesday. And those are like bond stuff, and then everything else is at 7:30, pretty
mm,
much, I think. I think
yeah,
there's like one 9 o'clock maybe, but that's it.
yeah. So for now, for me, it's down until I see some convincing evidence that we are breaking through the EMAs and pushing to the upside. Although I think it's
Yeah.
likely to happen, it would still be more of the same continuation to the downside until I see compelling change in direction. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
I would, and that, and honestly, this is one of the great things about the way that we trade is Jason could be seeing shorts and I could be seeing longs, and we can actually both be right. It's just a matter of paying attention to where our exits are. So he may be seeing the retracements while I'm seeing the runs, or vice versa. I may be seeing the
yeah.
retracements while he's seeing the runs. And they are both viable
We
things
can,
to take.
yeah, it's quite funny. We could be doing the exact opposite thing to each other every single
Yeah.
trade of a
Yeah.
day and still both be winners.
Yes.
Because there are different opportunities out there, right?
Yes.
So different ways of trading the same market.
I also struggle. I don't know why I struggle to see, not see shorts, almost trust shorts, I guess,
Yeah, yeah.
because
I'm
that
the
was my
opposite.
struggle the other day when I was trading is I took three longs and I was like, Lindsay,
Yeah.
you're just paying attention to that 233. And as soon as I switched my focus, I realized we were all in shorts and I took those shorts. Now, could I have taken some of those longs to pull back and take the short? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's not what I was doing. I was trying to take them for the long run. So
I'm the opposite. I struggle to take longs, maybe because maybe I'm a pessimist. I always
yeah.
expect the
See, I
market to
think
come
that's what it is.
crashing
I'm an
down.
optimist, you're a
Yeah, I'm a
pessimist.
pessimist. So, and also, I know you tend to make more money shorting the market than you do going long. Long
Yeah.
can be slow. Well, not always, obviously, like not in this market long term, but
Hey, it makes us the perfect yin yang team.
yeah, yeah. You go one way, I'll go the other, and we don't have to take each other's profits off each other.
Right.
Yeah, so
But you really do have to be careful when you are just taking the retracements because there is much more limited potential on most retracements, right?
mm,
So the biggest thing is not expecting every trade to be a 20-point winner, right? Pay attention to when it says it's dying out. Because if you
yeah,
don't, then you're just trying to force the market to do what you want it to do instead of paying attention to what it's telling you. So, we just find ourselves like, okay, so it's pulled back into this area. I see reasons to exit. Doesn't mean I want to exit. No, I want to stay in that and see that go for 30 more points. But it's telling me, Lindsay, you have everything here saying that, hey, who knows? And in a few more points, it could go down further, but it's going to pull back far enough to piss you off that you didn't take yourself out of the trade,
mm,
that you didn't pay attention.
Mm.
So, I've learned to not, I don't like that feeling. I don't like it at all. So
Yeah.
I learned to do everything I can to avoid it, which means sometimes I exit trades early. And sometimes I put my risk just a little bit higher, like kind of hoping it won't come back and hit it, and it hits it. And then it goes in the opposite direction for 20
Mm.
points. And I look at it and I go, thank goodness I listened to myself and I don't want to
Mm.
feel like junk anymore when I trade. So
I'm pretty much the worst trend trader you'll ever meet. I am purely counter trend trader these days. I
yeah.
love sideways markets. I love
Mm.
range bound markets. When I see a trend, I freeze. I don't know what to do because I'm thinking, as soon as I get involved, it's going to turn around and
And you know what,
take me
Jason?
out. That's
I
just my
love that
deep
for
inherent
you.
mistrust of the market. Yeah, but I do plenty well. I don't need to trade trends in, and luckily for me, trends. Good trending markets are few and far between, compared to the messy business that I like to get involved
Lately,
with.
yeah.
Yeah,
That is one
so
reason, I may be leaning into what Cesar is doing and looking at the NQ a little bit more because from what I
yeah,
understand, it's moving a lot more smoothly, right?
yeah,
Because this, I won't lie to you, like all this, that's hard. That if you're in a trade during all this junk, my heart's racing.
yeah,
It sucks. You're
yeah.
just waiting. You're seeing
It's
this pullback and like, should I
it's
have
true.
gotten out? Okay, no, it's going up more. Okay, let me just move my risk up a little bit more. And
Yeah,
these are a lot of times, especially lately, if I'm being very honest with you guys, I'm taking a lot of trades that are for one tick or plus one or plus two.
yeah,
Why? It's because I'm not trusting it and I'm moving my risk up
yeah,
too fast and it's stopping me out and then going in my direction.
yeah,
And, sometimes I look at that and I'm like, God, I can't believe that that sucks. But at the same time, I'm like, I got plus one off
yeah,
of it. I
mm,
know what I should have done. I can take this moment and I can learn from it, which I've been really working to do is look at that and go, okay,
yeah,
what is happening. And a lot of times, guys, it's because I'm not paying attention to what the MACD say. The MACD smooth it out for the most part,
mm,
right? Like even this junky move to the upside, we got a little bit of junk going on here, but it's a lot more smooth than what we see with all these pullbacks here, right? Even this
mm,
move to the downside, this is a lot more smooth whenever we're looking at these MACDs and what they're saying. And if I'm paying attention to that and not leaning into what exactly the price is doing right there, it's been helping me out just to be a little more focused and to stay into my trades a little bit longer. So,
mm,
and it actually like, it makes me think too, because I think about the comments that I give students whenever I'm working with them. And it's like, I'm just as human as you guys are. I see that. My heart jumps a little bit. I move it up, but I have to look at that and go, okay, Lindsay, you're allowing this stuff to get in the way. People ask me, how do you overcome that? It's literally from, a lot of time just suffering through it and then going, I don't want to suffer anymore. Let me pay
yeah,
attention to what's happening.
yeah,
and and just stop. Like, do I take losing trades? Absolutely.
yeah,
I just don't take as many as I used to. So
mm, yeah, yeah. Market's a
Tim, David said today it
good
happened
teacher.
to him twice, and Tim is a
Mm,
natural counter trend trader. So
yeah,
and you know
yeah,
what? I think those are great. I love counter trend trades. When they push down all the way down after, say you're up here and you're watching these divergences happen up here and you're like waiting and waiting and waiting. And finally you take that move because you've got enough distance to run back to the EMAs. There's a lot going on in the other charts that tells you that you can pull back. You got this one little blue BB right here as you've got to pull
that's the
back
one.
right in here. There's a
Yeah,
lot of room to run back to the area whenever that
yeah.
happens. And those are great trades to take. And then, you
Um,
have this that hangs out here and you've got this nice little pullback that happens here and it tells you it's going to push more. You got this little
yeah,
pullback that happens here. You've got this distance to the zero line. We're going for more, actually. Yeah. Is that
yeah.
right? Yeah.
And that's one
Um,
of the big advantages of counter trend trading is often you are getting into a position when the trend is changing. So you're in as early as possible to a new
yes.
trend, which is where you always want to be trying to be,
Yes.
right?
I just
Whereas
want to
trend
look really
trading,
quick
you
what they look
tend to
like
be
on the other
in the beginning,
charts.
maybe middle of the trend, if you're lucky. Um, that's really what attracted me to it in the first place. It was kind of natural. It wasn't even something I just thought about. I just realized I'm much better at it than trend trading because I just don't
Yeah,
have the nerve to keep continuing, on the same in the same direction when it's yeah, it's just a sort of deep inherent mistrust of the markets, I guess.
that's this right here. So honestly, if I was, had been looking at this and I had looked at a trade to take right here, it would be right in here
Yeah, that's
or
nice.
right in here. And you can see that's right here on that area. You can see those little
Yeah.
purple circles starting to pop up. These were like the perfect areas to take it and keep moving with it. And you still had so much to
Ooh,
run back to the EMAs here. You had
I
weakening
love that.
here that said we're going to push through. I mean, you miss all that, you pull back into here.
Yeah, I love what I love on the 1597. If I just show you
Go ahead.
this, um, way is I've got a bit of lag obviously when I play with these charts.
Yeah.
Is this yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, look at this higher high, right? Really popped off. But look how, the move down here. So first of all, we get weakness, gradual weakness. Like it's looking strong on the price action. The price action is strong, but
Yeah.
you're seeing a change in the trend.
The BBs are getting lighter in color. Yeah.
Confidence in the trend, so as the colors start fading, right? And then and even over here, you get let me just line this up. Yeah, this pullback here pretty strong compared to the move
Yeah.
up. It doesn't look it on the price, but the BBs are saying that's a strong pullback.
Yeah.
And then the continuation. This is a hard one to time for sure. I mean, I probably would have got stopped out once or twice even, but when you finally get it, um, when you saw, because it did go so far after, I
Mhm.
would have maybe been trying to get in over here somewhere. We're expecting the roll, but when you start to see that the pinching of the bands, the white color change there,
My
um,
favorite is right
that's
there
great.
after when it can't
This one
cross the
here is,
top Bollinger Band again, the one right before that.
yeah,
Yes. When
yeah,
it
that's
cannot
great as
cross
well.
that top Bollinger Band again and starts to pop to the downside, that is my favorite right
Yeah,
there.
you got
But if
so
I
much
but if I
distance to
want to
run.
wait for like safety and secure and comfort, I'm waiting for those areas on the 233.
And then this
That's
is, just giving insight. Obviously, we're looking at an insight to how we sort of assess trade viability. Really like the same
yeah,
thing happening here in this area. So, the weakening of the move to the upside and
yeah,
slowing the roll. All of that is building a narrative, to tell you that this is lining up with what this is saying, and that's how we approach it, right? So we're
yes.
never just trading just one chart. We're looking at trying to build a narrative in your head from what you can see.
Yep.
Um, that gives you the confidence to pull the trigger,
Yeah.
and then confidence to pull it again when you get stopped out the first time.
Yeah,
So
that is the hard part
yeah,
is well, also there's the fine line between when should I step away
yeah.
and when should I give it one more go, right? And so like took three losing trades in a row and I looked and I was like, "Oh my God, Lindsay, you're trying to totally fight this." I think I stepped up, got up and walked away for about 5 minutes and came back and sat down and found my trade to the downside that gave me like 10 points. And it's hard to do it and I've had to practice that. I've had to practice like,
Mm.
knowing what I feel like on the inside. I literally when I'm and this is something I've noticed about myself when I'm doing something that's totally against everything that I think I should be doing and I'm not paying attention, I start to get this like buzzing feeling inside of me. And it's like I'm buzzing, I'm shaking, I'm nervous, and then I'm like, what is going on? And I'm realizing that I am fighting everything that I see that tells me not to take the trade for this one little thing that I want this trade to work out. And so
Mm.
that's when I'm like, step away.
Yeah,
I step away.
sounds very
And
uncomfortable feeling.
yes.
Uh,
And so after that, I'm able to take a deep breath and come back and reassess.
mm.
Go, okay, what really is happening here? So yeah. But I think we are about at the end of the day. What was it?
I'm gonna call it 10 past the hour.
Yeah. I was just gonna turn on, let's see if I can. Oh, they're not gonna be on here. They're gonna be on the old contract, aren't they? Yeah. I was gonna pull up my trades for the other day so you could just see like my frustration. whenever I did it.
I want to see it. See it. Oh, they're on the other contract.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
takes a minute to roll over those contracts sometimes, so that's the only problem. Um, but I've been recording less and less, which I feel bad about, but at the same time, it's just really hard to find the time. So I do have a couple of recordings that I need to put in to the vault, and like one of them is a losing day. It was literally by I think like 2 ticks or something like that. But after commissions, it was like I think it was like 125 down or something like that. I hate when it has the words on there. Okay, so you can see I started right back in here, and it's really hard to see because these I don't know why they've made these errors so small. But I tried to take along here, here, and here. And then I walked away for probably about 10 minutes and I came back and took my short that worked out perfectly. Right. And I'm looking at these retracements that do tell us more to the upside. So I was feeling like I had missed out on this move to the upside and was really trying to push. And then I looked at it, I was like, you're trading right into the EMAs. What are you doing? And then I turned around and took the
Yeah.
short. So I stepped away for a while, and these are shorts, but I was just kind of getting in at the wrong time. I got down at the bottom here. I got down in here again, which I got stopped out on the first one. The second one, it was a +1. Third one was a +1. And then I got in and got I think it was like 10 and then like a 9 and an 8 pointer after that, which helped me.
Killer
Yeah,
exits on
I was
those.
looking 233s for long. That's
Mm.
exactly what I was doing, Davis. Um, I was trying to take the longs on the 233. So I am human. I do it too, even though I tell you not to. It's that motherly do as I say, not as I do. No, I'm just kidding. But having coming back and seeing that loss, and let me see if I've even got my I mean, it's true. I mean, it's
Mm.
just part of life. Let's see. Where was that day? So right here, it was just really, really frustrating because I had three losses in a row. Then I had my win right after that.
Cover up your contract a little bit there, Lindsay.
What's that?
Just for privacy, maybe cover up that contract a little bit.
Oh yeah, you can't see it all, but yeah. And then this was another loss right here. And then you can see I was struggling to really go past a tick. I was moving it down really, really fast. And then I said, okay, Lindsay, just pay attention to what you're doing. So this is all my trades since the beginning of January. So January 8th was my first day trading this year. And I think there's, let's see, the 8th, the 18th, the 19th, 31st, which was a doozy of a day for me. On February 6th, 13th, 26th, 36, 38. So 9 days of trading that I've had. And you can see some days I'm trading just one or two trades. And some days I'm really struggling with these +1s and +2s. And I'm doing that out of fear. Oh, I do have one sim in here, but I won't remove it right now. That was when I was working with Russell on how to enter and exit the market. So those don't count. That 5 points don't count.
Mm.
Um, but really, for the most part, I very rarely take a lot of losers in a row, but I will, and I don't really
You get
consider
up
these
quick when
wins
when they're
right
going
here.
against you. Yeah,
Yeah, those ones
they're
that are
great, graceful
zero, those ones
exits.
that are
Yeah,
+1, +2, they're just covering commissions, guys.
yeah.
So those in my mind are very, very close to losses. They're not, but they're close. Now, if I get zero, that's a loss because I'm losing commissions on that, right?
Hmm.
And you can see like on some days I'm adding those 2 extra ticks. And I think I'm adding those 2 extra ticks just really out of knowing it's not going to work out and hoping that it would. So I don't add them here, but the other day I added them each time that I was trying to go against the wrong way. I was going, long when I should have been going short. And once I turned around and went short, it was all uphill from there. So a side question, when trading multiple accounts, is there any way to disable the trade performance from duplicating the trades? I've tried the filter and only have one selected and run it. However, everything is still doubled. Honestly, I'm not the person to answer that, Tim. I don't trade multiple accounts. I just trade my own. Someone like, Cesar or Dan or Davis and Jason, do you trade multiple accounts?
I know what he's referring to. I believe I know
Okay.
what he's referring to. You can give me a yes. Are you talking about funded trader accounts where you are trading multiple funded trader accounts, and those trades are duplicated as you take them, um, and then they're showing, yeah. So they show up on your. As far as I'm aware, there's no way to program modify parameters of NinjaTrader to only pay attention to one of those accounts. Yeah, there might be though. There's probably a script for it that could be made, or someone's got already. I'd reach out to those forums, either Reddit, maybe Facebook, where you find where that particular funded trader program has a forum, and somebody will have the answer to that for you, most likely.
I should know those things, but I don't. It's just
Yeah, I don't
simply
think
because I don't
you
trade
profit
multiple
doesn't really
accounts.
do multiple. Yeah, I don't think you profit does multiple accounts like as in duplicate accounts.
Oh, okay. I thought he was like trading maybe his own I
Yeah.
got you. Okay. I'll dive off deeper on that. Just was wondering if anyone knew right off. Well, hey, and Tim, once you do know those kind of things, if you would share it with us so we can share it with the next person that comes along that has that question,
Yeah, if you're talking about
that would be
Apex or
wonderful. Yeah, because,
Bully Knocks. Mm.
we even though we trade a certain way or we have certain things that go on, we know that everybody that's here is not necessarily someone that trades the way responsible day trading does or uses you profit, so we want to be able to have that, information for people if we can. So, all right, guys, is there any other questions? Guys, thank you for being here on YouTube too. Mosin, is that what would that be it? Mo7 Sen Mosin. Thank you for your questions today, Kareem. Appreciate you being here. Guys, thank you so much. As I said, let me just one more time pull this up so we can have a look at when our next classes are for everybody who wants to be here. Uh, Thank you, Dennison.
Thanks,
So we'll go
Tennyson.
to the live class schedule. If you want to have these classes in Spanish, if we're going to on Thursday at noon Central Time, Saturday, March 16th at 10 a.m. I can't remember who is leading that one. I feel like it might be you, Jason, but I'm not sure. Um, and then we have the next Spanish class after that on the 21st. And then Saturday, March 23rd, we'll have the English class. Don't forget, we've got the seminar coming up. If you have some questions about it, please reach out to us at info@responsibledaytrading.com. You can click this little video to see what it was like for the folks in the seminar last year. If you are not a student, you can still be a part of it. We'd love to have you there. Jason, you're gonna give your money management rundown again. We're gonna have Jay there for the tax seminar. He said he's absolutely would love to be part of that this year. We've got some psychology of trading coming through. We're going to talk about e-minis versus e-micros. What are the benefits of looking at micros over minis, or maybe starting out with micros and moving to minis, something like that. We're going to do some real-time market analysis. I'm pretty sure we save time for doing the tilting points where we have students who will come in and we'll do a market replay and kind of have them go through and simulate trades. We would do over the weekend because we don't have live market running then. But so this year we're going to be doing this online. Hopefully next year we'll have another one face to face. Who knows? Maybe we'll find another fun place to have it next year. So all right, guys, that is going to wrap it up. I hope that everybody has a wonderful rest of their week. We look forward to seeing you in these other classes. If you are a student here, definitely reach out to us. Also, if you're not sure where the class or how to register for the class, just make sure you click on these so you can register. And then you'll have the Zoom links for the market rundowns if you come and join those. So just click there and you're going to have the ability to join us. So thanks, guys. Hope everybody has a great day, a great week. And we look forward to seeing y'all around soon. And as always, you know that I look forward to catching y'all on the profitable side.
See you
Bye.
soon, guys. Take care.